don't get to see all that often. So I'm sure it would be wonderful to go and have a look.
Themselves. They've left their mother behind them. Oh, the wildebeest has seen them. That's for certain. You may have seen the one wildebeest shake his head in disgust. So, that doesn't mean that it's over for these cheetah, because cheetah are incredibly quick, the fastest mammal on the planet. They can rely on catching up on their prey, so they do not need to ambush their prey as well as the lion and leopard. Joyanne, you would like to know if this is a coalition that you know. Well, it's not really a coalition. They're still just two young boys, like I say, hanging out with their mother. And some of you would have met them before. We have spent time with them. But they will form a coalition in all likelihood. They could split up. It's impossible to say. But in the next few months, we'll get a very good idea of what exactly these cheetah are going to get up to. Now, it's always a bit tricky working out what to do. We are enjoying the sighting with other vehicles, so I'm not sure whether to move or to stay. The other thing to bear in mind is that there is another cheetah that could start chasing these wildebeest and zebra. I think we're going to need to move forward just a little bit. Now, we've put on a camera with a long lens to try and make sure we don't get left in the dust with these cheetah hunting, so it makes it close to impossible for Jandre to focus on me with this big bazooka. Oh, there we go. Let's see if we can find this cheetah now. Now, I think this is kind of playful, inquisitive, learning behavior that these young male cheetah are displaying. How awesome is this? Great work, Jandre. And we've got a nice low angle here. Are we going to keep up with it? Looks like we're going to be able to keep an eye on him. Here he goes. Now, I haven't seen any very young wildebeest in this herd, so I don't know who he's going to take down, but this is incredible. He's literally running around. They could turn on him and start chasing him. So let's be ready for that to happen. Zebra and wildebeest will chase cheetah, and especially if they kind of work out that he is a youngster that's not as bold and confident as he could be, the tables could turn quite quickly. So now there's wildebeest and zebra split up on either side of him. There's some to the right behind him and some to the left in front of him. And once they, like I say, get a better idea of what they're up against, they could well all join forces and turn this cheetah around and chase him off. That was such an awesome view, and I'm so glad we got to share that beautiful moment with you. Cheetah sprinting between the wildebeest. Proud cat mama, you'd like to know how fast exactly can these cheetah move, and up to around 60 miles an hour, possibly just upwards of there. There was initially kind of a belief that they could move a little bit faster than that, up to about 70 miles an hour, but I've been told that that has actually been disproved, and it's closer to around 100 kilometers an hour or 60 miles an hour. Now, this cheetah's being clever. I mean, it's just taking its time trying to find a weakness, but I haven't found or seen any good opportunities for it, but hopefully he'll prove me wrong. Here he goes, straight towards us. How incredible is this? Come on, boy. Who are you chasing? Oh, the other cheetah's going, Jandre. Left, left, left. Left. On the wildebeest, on the wildebeest. Into the valley. It's dropped into the valley at about 10 o'clock, I think. Well done. I'm trying to keep an eye on the other cheetahs still stationary. Whew. My heart is racing, as I'm sure are a lot of yours. Hard to keep track of all this incredible action unfolding. Now I wonder where that other cheetah has gone. It's possibly just stopped in that small kind of riverbed, or laga as they call them in Kenya. I can see him, Jandre, just beyond the you're on the back on the other one. I can see the other one. It's stationary just in the laga. Stay where you are on this one. It's a better visual. I can hardly see the other one, but it has stopped chasing. Whew. That was so cool. Look at it. I think it just kind of let off a snarl of disgust there, having missed, going, oh, come on. And Kimberly, you would like to know if they are both having fun and learning, and I think exactly. They are young, they are trying to hunt themselves, and, you know, learning along the way. I think it is fun for them. I think they do get a sense of enjoyment and satisfaction unleashing their speed and chasing around possible prey. And the great thing is, you know, there weren't any good opportunities for them. Like, I was very surprised that they were actually going for these larger prey items with no small members in the herd. Chandra, let's take a look at the other. There's another cheetah just beyond the termite mound at about 9-10 o'clock. It's in the grass coming towards this one at quite high speed. A little bit to the right. There's another one in front, but that's all good. There's all three now that have joined up. The mother and the two cubs are going to all be together shortly. Well, I shouldn't say cubs, I should say sub-adults. They're about 1.5 years of age, these young boys. Hi Cassie, you'd like to know how long will these cheetah now have to recharge or catch their breath before chasing their next prey? And it's hard to be certain. I guess young cheetah will be, you know, more energetic, and each chase will vary in terms of the energy expended. In this case, I don't think they were really at full tilt for much. It was more cheetah jogging that we were kind of bearing witness to. So I don't think it'll take them too long to catch their breath, and it's a cool afternoon, so that will also play into the equation. If it was much hotter, it would obviously cause them to expend more energy to cool off. Now, who's who? Those are the two boys. You can see they've both got little mohawks glowing in the afternoon sunlight. Their mother, there were three of them, their mother is somewhere to the left of them, I think, just a little bit. Hi, James. You want to know exactly how far away she is? I think they were all in one spot now. I'm losing track because I'm looking down at the monitor to see what... Okay, so she is very close to where they are. Jandre said she's just flattened herself down in the grass over there. Now, you guys might hear some zebra. I was hoping to show you them as they run around alarm calling, but they've disappeared into a little riverbed. But you may well have heard that audio. A beautiful sound. Oh, there we go. Now there's all three. Now you can see that mom's in front and the two boys are at the back, and as I said, they still have those mohawks that are glistening in the afternoon sunlight. What a beautiful scene.
How lucky must it be to see those cheetah hunts? I'm so excited. I want to go and replay them now and see them. Now, our search for spotted creatures isn't going all that well. We did see a leopard orchid, and we know that Liam's getting desperate when he spots the leopard orchid, and he's just like, spots! So we're trying now all the unusual places for all the cats, see if maybe we can see anything else around here, just pretty much anything with spots or anything that's moving. I think at this point I will settle with anything with a heartbeat. Even the beautiful birds of prey. Perhaps maybe no Wahlberg's eagles, because they have been quite confusing lately. But we'll see what else is around here. Now, of course, we will spot another... Ooh, but is that a marshal? Ooh. Let me just go a little bit back. I just see a lot of white. That's why I'm saying marshal. And I do know that the road goes around. So you see this big marula? There we go. Yes, indeed, a marshal eagle. Well, hello. Marshall. No. Eagle 92. Hang on a second. I feel like we might be able to go a little bit around. Hello, beautiful. How are you doing? Now, it seems like we've been quite lucky with the eagles in general, because obviously they're not flying, because the wind is a little bit too much for all of them. So luckily they've been sticking around in, well, on top of trees and so on, which is quite good news for us. I'm very happy that we are able to see them around here, and I think it was quite unexpected to get so lucky with all the different birds of prey this afternoon. Now, if you look at that little white bowl that's sticking out of its chest, that is its scrub, and normally they store food in there to digest it later after they've been feeding for a while. So I don't think it's got a kid. It does. Is that hanging thing a kill? It is, and I'm going to say that it looks like the head of a duiker. Or a steenbok. You murderer. Now, this is a proper crime scene. The road does go around, so we're going to leave it temporarily for about 2 minutes or so, and we're going to go around, see if maybe we can have a bit of a closer look and find out what it is that it's eating. Now, this is the biggest eagle that we get in South Africa, and it's known for hunting small antelope, especially monitor lizards. They particularly specialize in monitor lizards. And, well, when the impala lambs are around, they also like them, as well as the tawny eagles and some other eagles around. But let's just go around, because it's really next to the road. David, you're wondering if eagles of different species ever come into conflict. Yes, they can. Once resources are scarce, or if somebody's got a kill and somebody else wants to come and steal it, then that does happen. Normally, most eagles, though, will only be territorial with eagles of the same species. Now, we are approaching... this is going to be a tough one. Let's see. I think maybe around this particular area will be a little bit better. Yep. Is that good? Now we can definitely see. It's a duiker. It's a baby duiker that this martial eagle has got. Well, this is just quite a show of strength for this particular eagle to be able to bring down an duiker. Now, you're wondering how they managed to bring down duikers. Well, this is quite a big eagle. It is the biggest eagle, and just checking here on the book, it says that they can reach about 85 centimeters in length. So, very, very big. And about, if they're very big, about 5 kilograms. So that's quite a size bird. And the duiker that we're looking at, it seems to be still a very young duiker. Definitely not a fully grown one, just judging by the size of its head. But I'm so impressed. This is not a common sight. This is not something that we see often. And this is why we often say that in stormy weather, the antelope and prey species don't fare all that well. I mean, we've gone around and we've seen already 2 different birds of prey with their kills stashed up out of a tree. So there's there's actually a lot to believe that perhaps leopards are doing the exact same thing. Ooh, what was that? All right. Are you going to start feeding? This is quite an interesting sighting. It's always funny how all of these eagles surprise us with all different things. Oh yeah, I was so dumb. I didn't realize it dropped the kill. I was looking away in the distance. Well, it'll be very nice if it went all the way down and brought it back up. I think it's stressing now. Yeah, you dropped it. What you gonna do now? I think there was still a little bit of meat left, but probably considering its options, should I go down and try and get it and put it back up here? As you see, they're also very clever. They know where to put it to try and get it away from some of the other predators, particularly bigger predators, like a hyena, clearly, or perhaps even, I'm sure a serval would give a martial eagle a bit of its run, or jackals, or leopards, and then, well, of course, if lions were to come across, pretty sure they would try to get it from the eagle itself. Now, please do go down and get it. That will be very interesting to watch. Definitely considering, and you see that it's upset. It keeps looking down, looking around. Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? Should I go down and get it, or should I just leave it? Very tough decision-making process. No? Are you not going down? Sorry guys, I am being called on the radio, so I'm just going to answer for a second. Standing by. I'm on Philemon, Scotland, Treehouse Dam Junction. Copy, thank you. Alright, are you gonna go down? Please do go down. Come on, look at those beautiful eyes. And it's such a powerful creature, and you can see standing all the talons, the very, very sharp talons. Whew. I think we're going to give it a little bit of we're going to wait. We're going to give it a bit of a chance, see if perhaps it does go down and get the kill back up. Because it'll be quite interesting if it does, and obviously we want to see how this is going to play out and how this is going to end. But while we wait for this wonderful bird of prey to decide as to what it wants to do, we're going to send you guys across to the Mara with Jamie and some very fluffy little lion cubs.
That is a fascinating sighting with Ali, and I hope that she spends a bit more time there. We've also had... Shh, David. She's throwing around in the back of the car there. We've also had a really fascinating sighting. One of the cubs climbed up a tree and pulled a stick down, and now the rest of them kind of want it, but they can't quite get it. And I don't think... Dave, do you think you've ever seen a lion look so pleased with itself? No. I don't think I've ever seen a lion look as pleased with itself as that one did. It was so proud of itself. It was high. It had to climb up really high to go and get that stick. And one's managed to get the other end. Ah, I found a stick of my own. I'm going to go over here with my stick away from your stick because it's better than the stick. While Mum and Aunt are fast asleep. Cheese potatoes, potato. No, vultures, no. Vultures are not really hunting birds. They scavenge, they don't really attack smaller creatures in the way that martial eagles might. But yes, a martial eagle like the one that you saw with Ali, or one of the larger eagle species, perhaps a crowned eagle in certain areas, they can and do attack cubs. They attack wild dog pups, leopard cubs, lion cubs. If they are small and out in the open without the adults to guard them, it is an unusual but a possible sighting that one could witness. It does happen. It is unusual though. But yes, a tiny lion cub. These lion cubs are now past that age where they are vulnerable to an eagle. When I first brought Lexi, my Weimaraner, into the bush, when she was a tiny puppy, I spent the first few weeks of the dog's life paranoid, absolutely paranoid that an eagle was going to come and swoop down and take her. And it does happen. I mean, when she was little, obviously she grew past the size of where she would be threatened by an eagle, but people do lose dogs, little dogs, on a relatively regular basis in South Africa especially, to things like eagles, martial eagles, crowned eagles. They are responsible for the loss of many a beloved family pet, and in the wild, the odd cub as well. This one didn't get a stick. Not very happy with life. You could go and climb and get one if you wanted to. However, really, really lovely question coming through from Michelle, who is a 13-year-old in Johannesburg and nearly 14 years old. And Michelle is right at that point in her life where she's got to choose her school subjects right up until matric. Michelle, you're wondering about which subjects you should take in order to become a field guide, and I hope that you are still watching, because it's actually a really lovely thing to hear that that's something that you want to do. And what you can do is contact Final Control in the way that you have already, and they can put you into contact with me. So I'll be able to give you a little bit of further advice. I'll warn you in advance. I don't have all that much time for correspondence, but I would really love to help you along if that is what you decide to do. So, subjects, I think most obviously is biology. Biology will really help you, but none of these subjects... Just looking to see what they're looking at. Sorry. None of these subjects are absolutely essential, so there's a huge degree of flexibility when becoming a field guide. Biology will help you, so will science, especially physics. I've found so many problems have been solved by a little bit of background knowledge of physics to help me do certain things, especially as a relatively small human being, to overcome the odd physics problem in terms of lifting something greater than my own weight into the back of a vehicle, it's useful to have as a method, as a problem-solving method. Languages are always an advantage. So if you one of the things I regret most deeply about my school career is that I didn't actually do Zulu all the way through to matric or one of those languages, but it would be really very, very helpful for you. However, another language like French or German or Spanish, those sorts of things are really helpful because it gives you that little bit of a one-up, because then you can speak to guests who don't speak English all that well. Let me tell you something very important about becoming a field guide, though. Something that you should know from the very beginning is that if you are really keen on becoming a guide specifically, because there's lots of ways to work with the animals out here, there's lots of ways to work in the bush, but if you're interested in becoming a guide, one of the things you must realize is that a lot of that is people-based as well. So although the animals are important, people are too, and your people skills are as well. And having a little bit of general knowledge more than anything else, being able to talk to people about what's happening in their lives, as much as the animals will dominate the conversations that you have. It is very useful to sit around dinner or wherever you happen to be and be able to discuss certain things. So just bear in mind that that is an important aspect of the job as well. You've got to like and enjoy meeting different people from all walks of life and spending quite a lot of time with them. But if you think that that's for you, I'd love to give you more advice. I grew up in Johannesburg as well. I know all about it. Feel free to get hold of me. Okay, alright, on that note, I will be seeing you, hopefully, periodically throughout the evening. Let's send you back across to Ali with her big bird of prey and probably its kill.
Well, it's still not quite yet, so it's flown down onto a lower hanging branch, and it's still carried on looking down to the bottom exactly where it dropped the kill. So it's definitely a bit of an intention of going down there and trying to get it, but it hasn't decided to fly down and then go all the way back up. I think it takes a little bit of consideration of starting to go down there, and probably you're going to have to do it quite quick, Eagle, because it's starting to rain quite a bit now. So you don't really want to have wet diker, do you? Keeps checking in every direction, but if you can, just have a look at the talons. You'll see those claws, how sharp they are when it moves around, and you can see it with a clear background. Very sharp claws, lethal, and that's exactly what it uses to bring down its prey. Imagine 5 kilograms dive bombing from the sky and then just hitting you pretty much in the neck or around the ribs and then just grabbing you with those sharp talons. That's likely what happened to that poor little diker that's there. That's pretty much become dinner. Oh, you can... Alrighty. Now it's down on the ground. Are you gonna fly up? I think we're all holding our breath. Alright. It's just gone to another tree just further back. But there it is, it's flown away. Oh. Yeah. It's raining quite a bit on us, so we're just gonna start covering certain things up, so that just to make sure that all of our equipment doesn't get wet. Alright, I think we're gonna also head back to camp to try and put, although it seems like it might be passing down a little bit now, but we are seeing our beautiful eagle flew away. How amazing was that? That was a very nice sighting. So it is starting to rain quite a bit. You can see on Wendy's dashboard that everything's starting to have a few droplets, so we're gonna head back to try and put our rain covers up and just make sure that all of our valuable stuff doesn't really get wet or damaged by the rain. And hopefully we won't be too wet by the time that we get there. Woo. Alright, while we try and sort out all of our water issues, and Tristan puts on his rain covers and so do we, then we are going to send you guys across to the dam camp for a little while, just so that we are able to sort everything out.
Welcome to the Masai Mara, everyone, and I'm with two of my favorite kitty cats in the whole of Africa, Amani's daughters. And you can see there's some elephants behind. The sun is dipping below the western horizon. You will not see me today. I'm already on my low light camera. So I've got Craig operating the camera. My name is Brent Bearsmith, and we're with two gorgeous cheetah girls who I think are about to go on their evening hunt. Now, they're not starving, but they could definitely eat. And all the way back in South Africa, my good friends Ali and Tristan are putting down their rain covers, something us in the Mara have had a lot of experience at. And fortunately for us, it looks like we might avoid that situation tonight. And when I say tonight, yes, tonight. We're going to be with these two girls all the way through to tomorrow morning, hopefully, unless they give us the slip. Now, they have been eyeing some impala in the distance, but no, it looks like we're going to have a little rest for a little bit longer. Remember, hashtag Safari Live if you have any questions for us, and you can do that on Twitter. I would love to hear from you and just about how gorgeous the Mara is this evening. Now, Alana is wondering, do individual cheetahs have different identifying patterns just like leopards? Indeed, they do. However, with cheetah, you don't really look at the spot pattern. You will look at the body spots for a very specific individual spot. So if you look on the female closest to us, Craig, if you can zoom to the base of her tail, right next to her bottom, there we go. You can see there's a slightly bigger spot. That would be quite a unique spot specifically on the tail, because then you've got less spots to look at to try ID her. But yes, they do have unique spot patterns. And you can see quite a lot of animals around. There's some, well, the ellies, beyond the ellies, there's some zebra. But the impala that have been slowly moving closer to where we're sitting are off to the right. So Sinak is wondering, how old are these cheetah? They're still quite young. They're under 2 years old. Where we keep going a little bit right. There we go. There we go. Now, that would be ideal prey for these two. And they're keeping an eye on them. They are quite far away still. But they have been slowly meandering ever so slightly closer to where we're sitting. Oh, one's up. Going for a little stretch. The female closest to us already did her first stretch and evening ablutions. I think that's probably what the second girl is going to do. Ooh. Stevie says they are such magnificent animals. I'm just going to position. If she keeps moving, she might be heading towards those impala, and I just want to make sure we're in the right spot, not to interfere with them or the impala. Now, she's a bit more hungry than her sister. Okay, Rebecca, I think we might need to start getting ready to prep a Facebook. So I'm going to take a leaf out of the Cheetah and Topi book and climb on top of a termite mound to put ourselves in the right spot. There we go, nice and high. So she's off to the left. She still is heading towards the impala, probably about 150 meters. Let's just see if she's going to continue the stalk, or is she going to give up? There's lots of things that make it quite difficult for Cheetah to hunt, and lots of things might give away her presence. It could be as subtle as a little bird chirping when she walks too close. That might alert the impala and other creatures about that there's a predatory cat on the prowl. At the moment, it doesn't look like she's getting any help from her sister. Her sister hasn't moved a muscle, still on top of the same termite mound. I think she's going to have a snooze. I'd say, ideally, Cheetah will hunt at all times of the day. Not so much at night, but ideally in about 20 minutes, when it's a slightly bit darker, is a cheetah's favorite time to hunt, in the crepuscular hour. So as it gets a little bit darker, and it's sort of that half light between night and day, where cheetah like to take advantage of the fact that some of the prey species thereafter can't see quite as well as they could at the moment. And just see how she disappears there. Well, remember, we're not going to move anywhere, so we're going to sit here and see what these cheetah get up to next. At the moment, they're having a good little snooze, but that could change at any second. And we're going to send you all the way back to Ali, who sounds like she's having an argument with her rain covers.
We did. We have put on the rain covers, but BM has just gotten his hands a little bit dirty, so he was just busy fixing them for a moment, because obviously we don't want to get all the dirt and stuff on top of the camera just as soon as we go out. But we're going to be heading out again and see what else that it is that we can find around there. Seems like the rain has stopped, obviously, after we've put all the rain covers and everything else, as usual. But I think maybe this will be good, because it'll have us all ready to go for tomorrow morning, ready for what may come. Now, it depends where you go. It's not looking as gloomy. It's almost like the rain just needed to come for a little bit. Was a bit of a splash here and there, and now it's all gone. But we are going to try and make our way back to the hyena den, because apparently some of the cubs came out. So I think maybe that sounds like a great plan, is just to go all the way back there and try and get back there. Hopefully we'll be able to see maybe one of those two cubs. There's two new cubs that, well, neither VM and I have gotten to know. So that'll be a very good plan. And then we'll see what else is lurking around in that area. Hopefully something. Ooh, this radio is going funny. I think this is probably the earpiece. There we go. All sounding a lot better. And it's funny how we've been pretty much circling this same area over and over again, and there's been nothing around. But all of a sudden, everything has been coming out. I didn't do it. You're wondering if in the beginning, when you start guiding, if I had any fears of being attacked by animals. Yes, I was terrified of all of them. I thought that every time I'd set foot outside of a vehicle, it was always with buffalo for some reason, that all of the buffalo were going to find me and they were going to trample me to death, and then they were going to get their horns in my stomach. I don't know why, but I was terrified. And of the elephants, that you would go walking and then they would sniff you and know exactly where you are. But the good thing is, and after I started doing the course, then you see the sense of it, to be able to guide or to walk in a wilderness areas, and you've got to put so many hours together with a mentor teaching you how to approach dangerous game, and so on and so on. So the more you do it, the more you realize that animals are actually doing their own thing. They don't really care what you do. They're not out to get you. And more often than not, if you bump into them, it's just like, oh, we bumped into each other. And that's pretty much it. seems like, talking about buffalo and big black mean things, Tristan has managed to find some, which is a very rare sighting for Djuma. So let's go over to him and find out if we all remember what a buffalo looks like.
Fuck, Annie. Right, so we can see that they are moving very quickly away from us, and unfortunately with the rain covers and where we are, signal is so difficult that I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to see them, but I'm going to try and position myself that we can try and see them at least a little bit better. Hopefully the signal will stay, I will be able to get into a good position and we won't actually lose sight of them. But it is a small grouping, it's not a very large group of buffalo, it's only a few of them that are here, so it seems as though there is only about 9 or 10 of them, and it's mostly males. It looks like all males and one female that we've got in this particular section. So interesting though, the thing is that the tracks for the Nkuhuma Pride are right behind these buffaloes, so they keep looking back over their shoulder. I wonder if they didn't bump into that pride during the day today and had a situation where they might have been chased already. Hopefully the Nkuhumas haven't grabbed one, because that would mean that they're going to be stationary. I'm hoping that the Nkuhumas are going to be on the tails of these buffalo and following them through into Djuma, and we might even see them going after some buffalo tonight. That's what I'm hoping for. It's a long shot, and whether that or not that does happen is anyone's guess. At least some buffalo on Djuma, and like I said, the first time I've seen buffalo in probably 3 months on Djuma, would be quite. When you think about last year, how we had buffalo literally everywhere, no matter where you looked last year, this year, very different situation. And it's why we've had a struggle with lions staying for long periods of time. It's because the buffalo tend to not stick here for long, because of the fact that there are lions every time they do come. So just been no buffalo around. Now, what's interesting is that they've also done a big loop. They're now turning back again the way that they've just come from, which is
seems like Tristan is being chased by the gremlins and not the buffalo. I'm sure he'll be able to sort it out, but I apologize on his behalf. I'm sure he's busy fighting them off, because unfortunately it is in a bit of an area that is gremlin full. So we'll go along for the ride, try this new hyena den. Hopefully they will be around there, and now they wouldn't have gone back in, because I'm sure there's a lot of tension building up all around the buffalo. But Tristan, I know, will be there just to make sure that we are able to see whatever it is that might or might not happen. And the good thing is that we are also not too far away from the area, so we'll be able to keep an eye out on what the movements are from all the way down here. Temperature has definitely dropped, and we are pretty much close to freezing now, I would say. Perhaps not as much, I'm exaggerating quite a bit. But I'd like to get to those beautiful hyena cubs before they go back in. So Megan says that is 18 and 35 degrees, which is quite cold for this time, considering that we've 65, sorry, I was pretending that I was going to make everyone freeze. 18 degrees Celsius and 65 Fahrenheit, which is still quite cold, considering that we've had the temperature rising and being around, I think yesterday or the day before it was 31, so it feels like quite a dip. But I mean, I suppose that was a foolish thing. I was packing all my clothes and packed away all the long sleeve t-shirts and the jerseys and everything else, and I forgot that actually when it does rain in summer it gets very cold. But luckily we've got the protection of the roof, so it should keep us nice and warm, or at least dry, which is quite a bonus. What is that? David, you're wondering if the rain affects the flying of birds. Well, it can, depending on how much rain you get. For example, if you get torrential rain and, you know, lots and lots of rains, well, the birds get soaked. So you'll see that they can't really start flying because they're probably a little bit too heavy, and they need to warm their dry their feathers up and warm up before they start flying around. So often after a very good night of rainfall, or during the day, I'm sorry, even just when there's a lot of rain, you will see them perching and looking very gloomy and upset with life, and they'll just stand there shake their feathers and just wait until they're dry, and then they'll start flying around. And I think because of the weather today, because there haven't been so many thermals around, and the thermals are the hot currents of air that a lot of the birds they catch to be able to soar a little bit better. That's why I think we've been seeing so many of the different raptor species today, which has been quite nice, because we've seen quite a big variety, and probably we've seen some of the toughest ones. Alright, let's go and have a look around here, see what's happening. Hopefully something is happening. We're almost, I can see the mound. Now I am hoping that we'll be able to see what lies underneath. Wendy, you're driving very funny today. Alright, now guys came out on the other side, so maybe let's just go around here, see if perhaps they are here. Maybe we'll be able to see anything. No. Ah, sorry. There's a big mother here right in front of us. So I think she got a bit of a fright, as did I, because I wasn't expecting her to be there. And hello. Now, where are your little ones? Are they inside? I'm not too sure where the little ones are. Chitty Chatty Meg, you're wondering who the new mom is. Well, as far as I know, and please, if I am wrong, do not fear to correct me, it's Gwen, actually the new mother of the two tiny little cubs. So I haven't been able to see the cubs, not too sure where they are. Maybe they're on the other side, but she is marching off. Now there's another termite mound not too far from here, so I wonder if perhaps she's actually not heading in that direction. It would be quite interesting to find out. We're just going to keep an eye on her and see where it is that she goes. She's still sort of walking around, so I wonder if maybe she's not going to go around and come back onto the mound. Please lead us to them. No? Are you trotting off? I think maybe we just got lucky and we caught her just as she was getting ready to go back again on her nighttime activities. Probably gonna do a little bit of hunting, although she's looking quite full, to be honest, if this is indeed Gwen. I'm still learning in terms of identifying all the different hyenas of the clan that lives around here. But as far as I know, Gwen was the mother of the two new ones that I still haven't been able to see. It's fine, I'm not scared. I'll work this hyena in until we get a glimpse of them. I think she has gone off. I'm gonna turn around, and I know there's another road that goes around and gives us another view of the other side of the den. So hopefully there will be something in there. Now I can't see behind us, so I'm hoping that there's not going to be anything that I might crash into. Hopefully not. Oh, it is indeed quite exciting to know that the den is still active. I think I was starting to wonder if there was actually any activity around here, because everyone's been checking at least once a drive just to find out where they are and if they've been going anywhere, and nobody has seen them. So I think one of the guys did see the adult and I think a glimpse of the little ones, but hopefully we'll see them as well. So let's just go around here. If not, then it's always reassuring finding out that they haven't left this particular den and that their little ones could still be in there. But I think, unfortunately, that is not going to be the case. I think she probably just told them to go in, and as it started raining, they probably did go inside of the den and then stayed in there. There are no views of them here, and the fact that she's gone so gallantly off and just carried on walking around, it's probably a good indication that they are indeed safe and sound in the den, and that's the only reason why she's probably left them and carried on. So, being a good mother overall, cannot blame her really for putting her cubs to bed when it's raining. But oh well. we are going to try and see if maybe we could go around if there's not any other hyena. But while I do that, let's go over to Tristan, who's still hanging out with the buffalo.
Well, I was happy for the buffalo. Unfortunately, the buffalo decided to just do a U-turn all of a sudden and head straight back the way they came. So no more sign of the buffalo. They've crossed back into Buffalo's Hook and gone. It was a fleeting glimpse at best of them, and I don't know what their story was. I've never seen a buffalo herd do what they did today, and that's just literally turn around in their tracks and go without there being some sort of predator around. But there's no sign of any tracks here. All the tracks that are for the Nkuhuma Pride are quite far north of us still. They haven't come down this section. We certainly haven't seen any signs, so I don't know what's triggered them to turn around. Maybe there's just something about Djuma at the moment that smells funny and they just turn around and carry on going back northwards. But really weird behavior and interesting. So what I've done is I've just come and parked off at Sydney's Dam. The buffalo crossed behind me basically a little bit further to the east, headed northwards up towards, there's another dam straight north of us here called Jacana Dam, and that's where the lions were seen this morning. So what I'm hoping is that if I just sit here for a little bit and listen, maybe we'll get some sort of alarm call, or even the buffalo maybe snorting or bellowing if maybe the lions are around and they get pushed back outside. So it's worth just sitting for a little bit and just taking in the ambience of what's going on. At Sydney Dam itself, there's really not much. There's no sort of sign of anything. It's just a bit of mud that is in there, and that's maybe why the buffaloes have moved past it. They have a situation where there's not really any water for them, but I would have been thought that they might have gone and drank at the small pump pan that's in front of the lodge there. Instead, they seem to just kind of come in and turned around and gone back. What's that walking on the dam wall over there? Do you see to the left of the dam wall? Go, yeah, wait, left. Other way. More, to the left. Now straight in there somewhere. There they are. There's the lions. Woo! So how good a call was that? So it was good to just sit and stand by and wait. And there comes the Nkuhuma Pride, and the cat streak at Djuma continues. So sitting at Sydney's Dam, just waiting, being patient, was worth it in the end. And they are slowly but surely just emerging from behind the dam wall. I just saw some movement there, and that's why I was saying to Senzo, just hold on, let's go back and have a little look. And they are coming straight to where the buffalo are. Now the buffalo are north of the road, given, so we might not see much of what goes on, but the lions are heading towards us, and at least we're going to get a view of them as they go and drink. But I don't know if it is the Nkuhuma Pride or not. It's difficult to say. At the moment, it's just 4 at the moment, so I don't know where the 5th one could be. There's some of the cubs coming at the back as well. So hopefully the rest will come. And you can see they're staring off. And if they've got the scent of buffalo, and in weather like this, those buffalo are in big trouble. We know the Nkuhuma Pride really does target buffalo, and they like to go after them. And if they've now picked up the scent and heard the oxpeckers, they know that somewhere here is food, and they're not going to stop. You can see they're skinny, they need a meal, and so we're going to have a situation where these guys are definitely going to go after them. And I would say that it's worthwhile just sticking with them. But how cool is that the Nkuhuma Pride just popped out of nowhere? And it's maybe why these buffalo are so on edge. Maybe they bumped into these lions already and they just don't know where the lions are, and that's why they keep U-turning and changing direction. But at least we've got some cats, which is wonderful news. So I'm super excited that we've managed to find them, and hopefully we're going to end up with a situation where they're going to come towards us. I don't know if they will. They certainly are looking in the direction of the buffalo, but the buffalo have gone too far north. If the buffalo was still standing here and the Nkuhuma Pride had come maybe 10 minutes earlier, they would have spotted those buffalo, and I think we would have seen a situation where they wouldn't have been drinking, but they would have been coming and trying to hunt and trying to come towards these buffalo. But let's see what happens. At least there's some females that are quite alert. You can see the female in front looking around, and it does look like the Nkuhuma Pride, just given that there is, as far as I can see, 5 adult lions, and then there looks like the 6 cubs are all joining as well. So no sign of the little cubs yet, but there is the rest of them at least. So really good to see. I'm super happy. I don't see the female with the wound on her side though, but all the lionesses that came down the hill look to be walking quite fine, so that's also good news. Riti, they'll go as much as about 2 weeks without food. That would be really the most that they would be able to deal with, and the most that they would be able to starve for. But at the end of the day, it also depends on what meal they've had. If they've only eaten an impala between all of these guys, 2 weeks won't be long enough. They'll also still be extremely hungry in sort of 7 days' time. So it just depends what meal they're coming off as to how long they'll last without any food whatsoever. But these guys should be fine. Now, I do need to call this in. Stations I've located, the Nkuhuma Pride at Sydney's Dam. They've just come over the dam wall, if anyone's interested. So, just had to let everybody know quickly. Mike, they're at Sydney's Dam. They've all just come over the dam wall. So, it's the Nkuhuma Pride. So, there we go. At least they can control the lineups now. Sorry, just had to quickly chat to the guys on the radio. At the end of the day, they also are around, and, you know, we need to let them know. And there was some guys that were here with us, and so it is good that we just let everybody else know what's happening. So you can see they're slowly but surely all starting to lie down and starting to rest. There's some of them that have already had something to drink, and the rest will start to kind of just settle down, and hopefully they'll get onto the tracks of these buffalo and start coming southwards a little bit and head towards them. For now, you can see everybody's just looking around and checking what's happening. The best thing for us would be if the buffalo came back out into this clearing and started to move in this general vicinity. So that's what we're going to have to hope for. But how cool is that to see? What a surprise to see them all coming out of the gloominess. Now, of course, if it gets any darker than what it is now, we probably won't see too much of them. Unfortunately, they're very far away at the moment, and so the view of them is not going to be very easy at all. Even with our infrared lights, we're going to struggle a little bit, but at least the lions are around, and it's a glimpse nonetheless. And with the buffalo around, there will be a buffalo that will bellow. It will make a noise at some point, and that's all they're going to hope for. And from there, I would imagine we're going to see them onto it and walking in those directions to go and hunt them. They are very skinny at the moment, so I'm pretty sure a buffalo is what they are after. Hopefully they, like I say, kill it on our side, because it will make life a lot easier for us. Otherwise they're going to be a few days away again, and they've spent so much time to the north lately that it would be nice for them just to come south and spend a bit more time on Djuma over the next little bit. But everyone's settling down. Porter Cam, you're asking what is the biggest pride that I've ever seen. Well, the biggest pride I've ever seen is the mountain pride up in the Lubombo Mountains, so straight east from here, basically, well, a little bit northeast. And that pride at that stage was 42 lions, so that was a very, very large pride of lions together. They didn't actually spend too much time together in the end, because just that many miles to feed was very, very difficult, and so everyone had to kind of break apart, and they were going through things like zebra and giraffe pretty much every night. They would have to feed off something like that, otherwise they were battling to sort of sustain themselves, and because of that, they then split and formed, smaller pride units. But basically it was about 42 lions altogether, which was pretty insane to see. So that was the biggest out of any of the prides that I've seen in this area. Here in the Sabi Sands, the biggest pride I've seen was the Southern Pride, which was 23 when I saw them. So 23 lions is the biggest Sabi Sand pride that I've had, and it was quite an amazing pride to see it. And that was without the males. It was just 23 just females and cubs and sub-adults and all the rest together. So not too many of those kind of prides left, unfortunately. Most of the prides we've got here are all fairly small, and the reason for that is because we've had a lot of males come into the area and a lot of changeover in the male lion structure, and that means that a number of cubs and sub-adults have been killed as well as females, and so most of the prides have actually decreased in number rather than increased. And so it's really good to see the Nkuhuma Pride like this with the cubs, and the cubs getting of age now where they're almost sub-adults and slowly but surely rebuilding. The other good thing about the Nkuhumas is that most of those cubs are females, as we know. So we know that 5 of the 6 are females, which means that the pride will go from 5 adult lionesses to 10 adult lionesses, which is going to be wonderful. But they're all just taking it easy. They're still very alert. None of them are fast asleep, but they are slowly but surely waking up, well, starting to kind of get up and move. You can see that female. Yes, I can see the female one in front. She's starting to stand up and look around. So I wonder if there isn't a situation that something's coming to drink, because you see that female, she's come into a complete stalk mode. So she's flattened her head right down and is facing something. What it is, I'm not quite sure. The buffalo didn't go in that direction, so it's not buffalo. The rest of them are all watching that female in stalk position. The cubs are up, so they are not providing a great foil for her But let's see, she's definitely gone into a very different posture than what she was earlier. You can see that is flat, and sleeping, or almost watching as to what's going on and hoping that something is coming her way. The problem is the rest of them that are all standing up. So the cubs need to look around and need to try and see what this female is doing, but she is watching something for sure. She's in a proper stalk mode. That's not a sleeping mode that she's in. You can see her eyes are open. Unfortunately, it really is getting very dark, so it's difficult for us to see what it is. I can't see anything else around, but maybe there is something still lurking. Hopefully it'll be a buffalo bull that just fell off the back end and is somewhere in that thicket that she's busy watching. But what we're going to do quickly is just try and see if we can't go into infrared. If we have a look in infrared, it might just help us a little bit, because obviously it's getting very dark, and infrared will just help bring a little bit more light into what's going on, so they stand out a little bit better in that infrared. There we go, that's better. Now the infrared light itself won't reach that far. No matter what we do, it's not going to even get anywhere near that area, and I can promise you now, the light is so bad that I can't even see these lions anymore. It's really difficult to make them out, so I'm hoping that they will move. You can see, look, she's popped her head up a little bit and is watching, so I wonder what's going on. There must be something around. Maybe she spotted something like a nyala or a kudu or something like that that's just moving around close to the camp area, but the cubs are completely oblivious. You see in the background the cubs are not watching at all, and even the other females haven't seemed to really gotten too interested in what's going on. So I don't quite know what it is at this stage, but there is definitely something that's piquing her interest and allowing her to be quite sort of focused on what's going on. The rest of them are kind of, you can see the rest of the females are fairly relaxed. None of them have put their head down, even though they're watching this female. None of them have gone head down and are looking and are in the same kind of stalk posture as what she is. But she's definitely seen something. What it is, I don't know. Like I say, the rest of them seem to not have noticed at all. Hopefully there will be one that will come out, or something will come out of there, and we'll be able to at least see what is actually going on in that particular section. But it might be better just to reposition ourselves as well. I'm just hesitant because of our signal, but if we go to where they're facing, there's a gap that goes through there, and it's much closer than what we are now, so it might be better for us to be able to see them and to see what's going on. Right, while we try and figure out what's going on, let's go back to Ali, who I believe is on the buffalo cut line, and maybe she'll pick up the buffalo that side and we'll have a little bit of a better idea of where they've moved. But in the meantime, we're going to reposition and let's see where Ali's going to head.
Well, we are heading on to Buffalo Dam, so we are quite on the opposite side of where Tristan is. We've decided to come all the way down here, hoping for Mvula to be around. But exciting to know that Tristan's cat streak continues with the with all of the Nkuhuma Pride. Now, with the buffalo being so close by, I'm sure they're going to be trying their luck around, like they must. They have to. It'll be quite interesting to go out tomorrow morning and read the tracks on the floor, on the soil, and try to find out what's been happening. Now, I think it's that time where I should probably try and find my spotlight, but I think I'm going to try and get to Buffalo Dam first, because I can still see with my own two eyes everything that's around here. And this is also perfect weather to wish for a pangolin. Those guys should come out, or should have been a little bit more active throughout the day. And with all this talk about pangolin packs, pangolin trucks, not trangolin, pangolin trucks around, who knows, maybe the hope has returned. And I am hoping, although I think for VM they've become quite common already, for serval all the way in Djuma, I'm sure that would be a highlight, all the way in the Sabi sand, because we don't get to see them all that often. Now, where are you, spotted creatures? Unisonic, you're wondering if there are any black leopards where we are? Well, no, they haven't been recorded in the wild in this side of the world, so not really. It would be something very rare. I do think that one of the centers or zoo not too far away from our area, they have managed to get their hands on a black leopard. They claim it is a wild leopard, but the story around it is still a little bit not clear, so we don't really know to believe if it's actually a wild leopard or if it was a leopard that was actually in captivity, because often you will find places that will breed certain species of animals, because they've got I got into the wrong road. because they've got different, different genetics. And they try to breed that particular gene, like some of them do with the king cheetah, just to preserve it and make sure it carries on and that it's preserved for other generations. So it's a little bit hard to tell, but no, I haven't ever heard of or seen a black leopard in this area. I think they are a bit more common in India, and I think particularly in Sri Lanka they've been reported lately. And there was a case recently, I do think it was Sri Lanka, of a photograph of two leopards, a normal looking leopard and then a black leopard. And then the black leopards would be also the one that you call panthers, which is just a leopard with a lot of melanin in its skin that makes it go dark. But if you see it with the light shining straight at it, then you will see also the rosettes, but just of a much darker color in general. I think I got a little bit too optimistic here and I went down the wrong road, and I just really wanted to go to Buffelshoek Dam, so I'm gonna have to take another road to get all the way there. It seems like I have forgotten some of my Djuma roads today. It's very easy when the weather's like this to get disoriented and just think that you are somewhere, but actually really you are somewhere else. So we are heading towards where we thought we were, but we are not where we thought we were. Almost sounds like a riddle from Alice in Wonderland. Well, this is Wonderland. Would be nice to find again those two bush babies that were together. They were jumping around and looking quite cute. And like I said yesterday, we had one that was jumping about just before them. So we'll see. Paula, you say you would like a pangolin. Well, I would too. Trust me, I've never stopped looking. They're just that difficult to find. If we had, I dream that one day we're going to have a pangolin den. We're going to be able to go to and just see them all the time. But unfortunately, very rare to see them in this area. Although people like Tristan have been very lucky to have seen many different pangolins in a lifetime. I've only seen 3, but I've seen them all outside of the Sabi Sand, which is quite sad because I want to see now one in the Sabi Sand. Of course I do, just because I haven't seen it here. Now, it's quite interesting how after the rain, or just before it started raining, it was very, very quiet at night, and now we're starting to hear a lot of cicadas and little insects calling at night. So definitely summer is on our doorstep, particularly with the rain and the weather like this and all the insects, I think. And I'm actually looking forward to the sun shining again, because it'll be quite pretty to start looking at all the flowers and all the little leaves, and everything else should start taking a beautiful coloration not too long from now. So I've been driving around looking for any sorts of flowers or interesting vegetation, but so far not too many changes. Seems like Tristan has managed to put his IR on, so let's go over to him and find out what the lions have been getting up to.
Well, the lions are just busy milling around. There's some impalas you can see is what they were watching earlier. So a couple impalas that are busy looking in that area. And that's why the lions were so focused and so intent on steering in this direction. Of course, the impalas have seen those lions. You can see how alert they are. The lions are not exactly hiding themselves in any way. And so it's not a situation where the impalas can't see them, that's for sure. Their lions are completely spread out, easily visible. And that's why everybody is just in a state of hiatus at the moment. But quite cool to see these little heads popping out of a bush and the lions watching in the distance. Now, like I said, they are so far at the moment that even in the IR with the light on, we're going to battle a little bit with light. So I do apologize about it being a little on the grainy side, but rather grainy lines than no lines at the end of the day, and we can still see some of them. I'll try and put on a little bit of full light just for sort of the purpose of that. No, it doesn't actually even bother. It's not really worth it, so at least we can still see some of them. Portakam, most certainly these lions would, if they can get hold of 3-4 buffalo, they would take them down. Generally, because it's quite difficult and it's not an easy process, it's normally that they only bring down one. But I have seen prides bring down multiple kills at once. In fact, the Birmingham boys one time had 7 different buffalo at once. So we found the Birmingham boys, each one, at that stage there were 5 of them, each one with their own buffalo meal, and then 2 carcasses just lying there uneaten. So they will go after multiple targets if they can, and they certainly will kill as many as possible, even in one hunt. And obviously you will find sometimes them hunting at separate times and bringing down 2 different animals. There goes the impalas. You can hear them snorting and running off, but they will bring down multiple animals at different times, but they in the same hunt, it is possible to see more than one or two. There they go. It looks like they might be coming towards us. Hopefully that will be nice if they do. No, just lying down again, unfortunately. So there they are, right in the distance. Nikki, you say if only a B-boy would come out behind them. Well, unfortunately, that's not going to happen. The B-boys are all south, so 3 of them are in Mala Mala and 1 of them is on Torchwood. So the chances of a B-boy popping out is very, very slim. If a male lion popped out now, all hell would be breaking loose, because it would mean that it was an intruder male and those cubs or sub-adults would be in huge danger. But look, she's striding slowly southward, so this is really good news for us, because it means that this lioness is coming down towards the boundary and hopefully straight towards us. Now, whether or not they're going to spend a lot of time here, I'm not quite sure. We're right on this northwestern corner, and it could very well mean that they cut over towards Simbambili, but hopefully they are going to file in straight towards us, and we're going to get a really nice view of the entire pride coming this direction. I'm also very keen to see the lioness with the wound, but when the lions were coming down the bank, it was still light enough for me to see what was going on, and I didn't see one lioness limping, struggling, or moving in any way with sort of any discomfort. She seemed to be walking just fine, and so I have a funny feeling she's just okay. It's just going to be a gaping wound for a while, and she is going to be alright. Remember, the whole pride is looking quite skinny. It's not just one female that is skinny with the wound. Every single one of them looks as though they could do with a better meal. So hopefully that's going to be coming their way shortly, and we are going to end up with a situation where our lions will feed a lot better and find some sort of food item. Now, I've just put on my headlights a little bit just to try and fill the light in for the infrared, just to help it out and try and give it a little bit of extra light. The impalas have run off, so we don't have to worry too much about putting a floodlight on, that they can at least see the cubs a lot better. There we go. You can see them all lying around there. So eyes are glowing in the dark, as beady eyes do, and there's a bit of light on them, and so they're going to hopefully move this way. One lioness is moving in this general direction. She is hopefully going to come down, and what I'm going to imagine is going to happen is they're going to get exactly where those buffalo walked, pick up that scent of those buffalo, and they're going to trail those buffalo. The problem is the buffalo went the wrong way. Had the buffalo been inside Djuma, I think we would have been in for an interesting evening, and almost certainly would have found a buffalo killed tomorrow. I'm 100% convinced that these lions are going to get some sort of beefy buffalo over the course of this evening. The conditions are absolutely perfect for lions to hunt buffalo. It is dark, it is cold, it is rainy. It is the best conditions possible when lions want to hunt. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens during the course of the evening. We can see another lioness is now up and moving straight towards us. You'll see her coming from the left side there. There she comes. So it looks like she's also on her way this way, which is great news. So slowly but surely, the lionesses are moving southwards and moving towards our area, which is exactly what we've been wanting. We want them to start coming in this direction and start heading towards the boundary where we can actually view them properly and not at such a long distance. At the moment, it is very far away. It looks as though she might lie down, though. She's kind of got that lying down amble. There we go. Proud Cat Mama, you asking when the lionesses go to hunt, where will they leave the cubs? Well, these sub-adults will be following the pride all the time now. They're not going to be left anywhere. They're now old enough to follow and to learn and to see what goes on, because ultimately they have to watch the females to learn how to hunt buffalo and various other animals. So they will be continuing with the pride, but the smallest little cubs will be left in an area where it is very, very quiet, where it is thick, dense bush, where they can hide very well and stay out of the way of things like lion and hyenas and leopards and all the other predators that could be a threat to small cubs. So they leave them in a drainage section or a termite mound or something like that, and then they'll go and find them once they're done with the hunt, or if they're either successful, they'll go get them and suckle them if they're still very young. If they're old enough to go to the carcass, go and fetch them and bring them there. But at this age, these cubs are mobile with the pride all the time. They don't leave the pride at all. Even when they're hunting, they'll just stand back a little bit and watch the adult females do the job, but they won't actually leave the area and leave the cubs behind anywhere. The cubs will follow as they go along. Right, now I'm going to sit with these lions. They are slowly but surely, some of them coming our direction, and hopefully they'll continue to move southwards. And so while we sit and wait for their arrival towards our section, let's go back to Ali, who's got her spotlight out and is almost at Buffelshoek Dam.
I just got attacked by a branch on the road. That was very scary. So we clearly drove over it in the wrong way, and then it just came and attacked me from the side. So that was an adrenaline rush. We're not too far from Buffelshoek Dam, so hopefully the adrenaline will carry on once we get there. Like we said earlier on, we're hoping for maybe Mbula to be around, so that would be quite interesting. Other than that, not too many creatures to report nighttime patrol, I must say. Still hoping for a little pangolin to pop out somewhere. But you're asking me what's my favorite nocturnal animal. That's a good question. I like leopards quite a bit, and lions, if they can be considered nocturnal creatures. But if we're looking into smaller things, chameleons are very cool. I really like them. And then also thick-tailed bush babies, but we don't get them, or at least I haven't seen or heard them here. So the thick-tailed bush babies are maybe about 4 or 5 times the size of a lesser bush baby, which are the ones that we often see jumping around in the bushes when we drive at night. And they look like a small teddy bear almost. They're very fluffy and pretty, and they have like a very funny call. Now this would be actually a good spot to maybe see the hippo outside of the water, because I definitely don't see it here, so I wonder where it's gone off to. And Buffelshoek Dam is perhaps still the only place where there are hippos. Besides Chitwa Dam, obviously, because Chitwa Dam is an oasis of hope, almost, with all the water that there is in there. Now, let's see, maybe down here in the drainage line, because this would be a very good spot for any leopards to go in. But it seems like... What is that flying? Nope, that's a bird. I see some eyes, but I don't see them anymore. It's always tough amongst all these branches, but definitely if it was anything, I think it was a dove sitting on its nest, so we don't want to blind it. Now I feel like a police on a nighttime patrol. Riti, you'd love to find an owl. Yes, an owl would be cool. Maybe something big like a spotted eagle owl that we don't see all that often, or even a white-faced owl. That would be quite nice, or a Scops owl. Just any owl, I agree. Owls are very beautiful. I really, really like them. Now, I thought I had seen one, but that's actually just a bit of a funny thing on a tree. So not that one. Nope, nothing around here. The good news is, though, obviously as summer starts approaching, hopefully chameleons are going to start being seen a little bit more often, which would be wonderful, because they are such funny looking creatures. Hopefully we'll start seeing tiny little ones, but those ones are always the hardest ones to spot, because clearly they are very small, so it's not as easy to spot them as it might be spotting other things. Where are you, eyes? Monique in London, you're wondering if we ever managed to ID that very strange raptor that we saw the other day. Well, jury seems to not be 100% sure of exactly what it was, but the general consensus of everyone involved is that it's a very strange pale morph Wahlberg's eagle. So it had a lot of dark, it was quite strange, and maybe getting it in flight would have been a little bit more helpful to try and decipher what it was. But it seems like everyone decided that it was actually a pale morph Wahlberg's eagle, but a very strange one. There was a lot of people's general impression was that it could also be perhaps a booted eagle, but then something just didn't look right. So for the first time in my history, I was actually right about a bird and Tristan wasn't. So that was all that really mattered to me, because Tristan is far better birder than me. So he's normally right, and I normally go to him for counsel the same way he comes to me for trees. So I was right for once. So how is it that the saying goes? The student has become the master. Well, not the master, but at least on this occasion I wasn't too far off. So apparently, pale morph Wahlberg's eagle, that's the one. And we saw another one today. No, I think that's a diker sleeping in the distance. Wouldn't really want to disturb all of these diurnal creatures. And then we shall see what else is around here. Come on, little leopards. Another diker all the way over there. And another one over there. Yup, there's a lot of them around here. No wonder the leopards hang out around this area. Oh, I got excited there for a second. I saw lights in the distance and I thought that maybe because they were reddish, they were actually a predator's eyes. But in reality, they were the lights of the town far, far away. Just going through the branches of the trees. Now, come on, beautiful creatures. Shrimp monster, you're wondering what chameleon species are nocturnal. Well, here we only have one, which is it's easier to see it during the night, but that does not mean that they are only active during the night. Often you'll see them active during the day, and that is called the flap-neck chameleon. Now, other species of chameleon in other parts of the world, I'm not 100% sure, but I think a lot of them tend to be diurnal, particularly the ones that we get in South America and in the forest. What is that? No, that's a stump. So the flap-neck chameleons, we manage to see them a lot easier as we drive around in the night, just because they shine a little bit different. So you can sometimes pick up the shape of their body in between the branches, where it's during the day is very hard to see them because, well, they are chameleons and they camouflage very well. So they actually live up to the expectations of being very hard to find. Now, I wonder where all these leopards that were hanging around here are today. Mystery, mystery. Seems like Tristan has got all the wonderful news, and it seems like the Nkuhumas are slowly approaching Djuma. So let's go over to him and have a look at those beautiful girls.
They are indeed slowly but surely moving through the long grass, heading straight in our direction. So we've repositioned and we're sitting right where the buffalo first came across to our area, and the lions are coming straight towards us. And it's quite an eerie thing with those eyes glowing in the long grass as they move towards this area. Now, of course, I can't sit exactly where they're going to cross it. The way that they're walking, they're probably going to cross a little bit towards the west of me, but there's no reception where that is. So I'm having to stay where I am now and just hope that they move straight towards us and kind of come in our general direction, and that this vehicle in front stops blinding us with a light, because the vehicle in front keeps blinding us and shining their light directly at us. But they're trotting off into this drainage section, so I don't know if they've spotted something in that general area. So maybe there's something there that they were busy running from. You can see slowly but surely they're piling across and moving in to the thicket. But it is very dark at the moment, and so it is perfect hunting conditions. Since I think maybe let's go to the left, they should pop out somewhere here. I can just see the eyes in my spotlight moving slowly through this thicket, and they're then going to cross over onto Djuma just to the left here. There's the road right there, so maybe let's just quickly turn the car so that we're on the road itself. Here they come running, the little cubs. They're trying to keep up with the moms as they go. So we're going to try and just position ourselves that I can see them. There we go. That should be a bit better, Senzo. In that they should come out right here in front. Now I'm hoping that we're not going to lose signal. There we go. So they should come up the road towards us, and there are the lions coming over. So 1, 2. You can see they are in need of a meal at the moment. But that's 2 lionesses, and here comes the third one, and a cub's going to come bounding across the road. There goes a little cub jogging as she goes. Third lioness, another little cub jogging. And the rest of them are still coming. I can see lots of eyes heading in my direction, so the rest are on their way, and they're going to get the buffalo scent in the next few seconds, because the buffalo scent is going to be right where these guys are, and then I think the hunt is going to be on, and they're going to actively be following that scent into that area. Now, the rest of them are about, I would say, 30 seconds from emerging, some of them, onto the road. So we're just going to have to be a bit patient and wait for the rest to come. I can see them kind of moving through the grass in the background. There we go. There's another lioness. That's the one with the big wound. You can see she is working absolutely fine. There is a little bit of a kind of gingerness, but other than that, it's really not bad. Considering the size of the wound, she's done very well to be able to sustain herself, and that's not a bad limp by any stretch of the imagination. I saw a video the other day where somebody was saying that they're limping very badly and that she's looking as though she's going to die, and it's all very depressive and very bad. But as you can see from that, she's walking just fine. She's not limping like everybody thinks she is. She's actually okay. Right, now I'm going to have to try and turn. Is there still one more coming, Senzo? I think all of them have gone over, to be honest. Maybe there's one or two more, but let's try and just turn ourselves around, because the thing with the rain covers is that I can't actually see on my side, so I'm trying to kind of turn in ways that I can see them. Here they're going to come across straight in front of us. Senzo, hold on. Is there anybody behind me there? Okay, we've got to make sure that we don't have people behind us as we go, because ultimately we don't want to crash into anybody. So they should come through this gap. I can see them just moving on my right hand side, and they are coming towards this gap over here. This is where the buffalo went straight over. We're right on the buffalo tracks at the moment, so this is where they all crossed, and the lions themselves are just moving slightly over this way. Unfortunately, this area has really bad reception, and so we're going to have a situation where we're going to have to just sit and try and figure things out and move slowly, and it's going to be intermittent glimpses of these guys as they go. So we're just waiting for a vehicle to go past so that they can go, and then they will put on our lights again. Hopefully the rest, there they are. I can see them. They are slowly but surely coming in this general direction, so hopefully they're going to pop out now. Macy, you're wondering if a lioness can take down a buffalo on her own, or if it requires the use of the whole pride. Well, in some circumstances, yes. Last year in the drought, when the buffalo were very weak, we were finding that the lionesses were able to take down buffalo on their own. But generally, it will require, now at this time of the year, especially when we've had a little bit of rain and the buffalo have fed a lot better than last year, you're going to find a situation that most of the lionesses will be needed to wrestle with those big buffalo bulls. If it's buffalo calves or young females or young males, then you'll find the lions will be able to do it by themselves. But when it's a big bull, they're going to have a situation where they're going to have to. There they come. So they are coming out right now. Look, you see, noses down. They're sniffing those buffalo for sure. They've picked up the scent now, and they know, okay, buffalo are here. We are going to now follow them. So that's the first female that's come through. The rest of them are going to start piling around pretty shortly, and I'm going to imagine that they're going to follow that scent exactly the way that it was with the buffalo. Look, you can see they're walking exactly where we first had the buffalo. That was the first view we got of those buffalo, was in that thicket. And these lions know for sure that there is meat around, and there's a tasty buffalo morsel waiting for them around one of these corners. And it's just such a pity the buffalo didn't push further south into Djuma, because we would have definitely heard the sounds of lions hunting later in the evening. But at this stage, I think they're going to probably push back north again. I would ideally like to move so we can get a better view of the Nkuhumas, but I don't know if we're going to have a chance to. I think we might lose reception, and it's right at the end of the show, but they're all angling off a little bit now, so I'm going to just risk it. I do apologize if we lose a little bit of reception. Please bear with me. It will come back. It's just that I want to try and see.
Seems like the Gremlins attacked Tristan once more. We are now slowly heading back home, as it is that time of the day where we get to be nice and warm again. Unfortunately, we haven't had any luck with the spots, although we have been looking very thoroughly, just in case. Oh, some impala on the side, so we're not gonna put the light on them. We're going to carry on driving around here. Hopefully there will be something around. Normally predators have a funny way of all being quite close to one another, so hopefully there will be a leopard somewhere around here, which is not too far away from where Tristan and the lions are. But very nice to see that the Nkuhumas are stalking buffalo, and like Tristan said, I do hope that they end up hunting them and chasing them all the way here. And very happy to hear that lioness with the wound on its hip is actually still doing well, and that there's no visible sign of a limp. It's probably a good indication that she's healing, and that slowly but surely she's going to get there. Seems like a lot of our lions have gotten a bit of a beating lately, and every time it's been closer to Kruger, so it proves that the boundary, the fringes of the territory can be a little bit dangerous. I am, however, going to say goodbye to all of you. It's been wonderful having you on a very raptor-filled drive, and we'll send you back across to Tristan for the last few minutes of drive, just to enjoy the company and see what the lions get up to.
Well, you can see they're slowly but surely coming out now, and they really are noses to the ground, sniffing these buffalo out and just checking, and they following the scent of where the females walked. So the bull buffalo came towards where I am, the females walked where those lionesses are now, and you can see they kind of worked out, hang on a second, these things have turned around and the whole pride is now changing direction again and heading straight towards us. You see there's a female coming back again, so she's picking up, hang on, these things have turned, and look at how the noses are down as they calculate and work out exactly where these buffalo have gone, and they are almost step for step following them. Unfortunately, though, it is that time of the day where we will unfortunately have to leave them. Also, they're going to cross back over onto Buffelshoek in the next minute or so as they follow these buffalo back to the north. But it's been an absolutely wonderful day. I think we've had an incredible drive given the weather. We've had the most amazing things, the lions, Ali with her eagles, so it's been an absolutely wonderful afternoon. So from Ali and myself and Senzo and VM, we'll see you all on our sunrise safari tomorrow.